The 9 are abroad again. They have crossed the river secretly and are moving westward. They have taken the guise of riders in black. A long time ago I walked into a shop and it was just a newsagent in London, and one of the songs on the radio, the lyric in there was, "It's later than you think it is. It's later than you think it is." And I almost stumbled out of that shop with my head in turmoil, because it dawned on me that time was running out and that most people die thinking they've got 20 years left. You have to see that in the same way as you have to see that people are afraid to change, even if they've been doing the same thing, or especially if they've been doing the same thing for a long time. The longer they've been doing that thing, hiding from themselves, hiding from their conscience, hiding from their real responsibilities, the longer they've been doing that, the more afraid they are of change. And it sort of snowballs until it becomes an impossible situation. If you have been doing the wrong thing for a few years, it's painful to change, but if you've been doing the wrong thing for 30 years, people hide from it, because to acknowledge it, suddenly you've got 30 years of pain there. But that's the way it is for us, for people, because everything is wrong on this world. It's like we get coated with what is false so that we can see it, and only then can we break it. We have to be coated with what is false first, so that we can understand it tangibly before it frightens us, before we have too much to lose. I'm reading a little bit again of Beasts, Men and Gods, which is a true story of a man who travelled through the Russian Revolution of the Bolsheviks, and having just witnessed a horrific murder of a family whose house was burnt to cinders, he says, "The hair raised on my head as I listened to the calm description of this young woman, hardly more than a girl. Only then did I fully realize what depravity Bolshevism had brought into the world, crushing out faith, fear of God, and conscience. Only then did I understand that all honest people must fight without compromise against this most dangerous enemy of mankind, so long as life and strength endure." The world is in a terrible state. The large forces are destroying nations, tradition, family. They're destroying anything that exists. They are disintegrating all existing structures. Why? For money. Because atomized people who are not protected by their nations, by their family, are easy to pick off. It's that simple. And woke, what has awoken? What has awoken is the sense that you have no responsibilities whatsoever, and you can live without conscience. That is woke. You can just do whatever the hell you like, however depraved, however evil, however many people it hurts. Now I heard yesterday that the Zen monasteries in Japan are receding, they're declining, that's not a good sign, because Zen is one of the most powerful traditions there is, that exists. And if this kind of thing continues around the world, there will be fewer and fewer conscious people, and human beings will be free-falling. I had a strange thing happen to me. It's happened 2 or 3 times in the last couple of months. As I was working on myself, on the many eyes, or daydreaming, or just pondering, suddenly an image of a black person entered into my mind. Quite shocking. Never happened before. And I'm not sure what it means. I have the sense that actually when you ponder, you're opening a part of your mind that is shared. When you have intuition, or you're reflecting on things, it's like you're sort of opening up something so that some new material can spontaneously emerge. It's a particular mode of functioning of the mental abilities. And if you ponder, waiting for new information or new insights or new ideas to come, you are opening up and connecting to other people. And we are all, I suppose, at times sharing a mind. And as there's so much talk of black people in our society, then I guess that's where the images come from. Of course, these images have got absolutely nothing to do with black people. They're not coming from black people. They're coming from the Bolsheviks. They're coming from those people who wish to destroy nations, family, society. In the UK, they use black people, even though in this country there's more Asian people. There's double the amount of Asian people than there are black people. They don't use Asian people because having black people gives the maximum amount of shock, because it's although these images are used in advertising for men's trousers, for instance, if you go onto Marks and Spencer or The Gap, half the photos are of black men. Why? It's got nothing to do with helping black people. I mean, there's double the amount of Asian people in this country. It's an attack. And in Korea, an attack on the Korean culture is to advertise faces of very, very pale, almost white Korean ladies in order to damage their self-image. It's an attack on Korean people. And this is going on everywhere. And it does remind me of the opening of Japan. Japan was still an imperial nation 200 years ago, before the Americans arrived with their gunboats over the Pacific under, I believe it was Admiral Perry, and these industrial, smoke-filled, black smoke spewing American ships arrived in Tokyo Harbor, and the message was given to the Japanese that they would be completely destroyed by the Americans unless they opened up to American dollar business. And dismantling all national cultures around the world, whether it is British culture or Korean culture or Japanese culture, that's the only game in town. In Africa, where black people originate from, they're doing the same thing. The Western corporations and doctors go there to inject new drugs, or either that, or they go there to ply cigarettes because people in the West no longer want to smoke cigarettes, or either that or Bob Geldof and Bono from U2. I remember seeing them getting off a plane, walking down the staircase. This was at about the time of Live Aid in the 80s. And the two of them came down, Bono with his blue sunglasses and his black leather pants. And I think when they got down to the bottom, they kissed the earth, kissing Africa, and they were going to save Africa. So, these are the three approaches that Western man has towards black people. Oh, of course, the fourth one is the movement in the UK at the moment. If I was black people, I would be running very fast in the opposite direction from these saviors. With the many eyes, I've been doing a lot of work on the many eyes in recent months, and also progressively in the last few years, developing more and more inner skill. It's very noticeable to me that when I wish to work with the many eyes, I have to suddenly shift the direction of my intelligence from the outside world, which is one kind of mode, to the inside world, and to a particular layer of the inside world where I can feel the movement of these moods and feelings and characters and faces. It's a kind of feeling body where you can feel these